Hello, and welcome to episode 3 of deValiante reads Highway Blossoms by Studio Elon. This kinetic novel was part of Humble Bundle's bundle for racial justice and equality. It also contains strong language, sexual themes, and deals with loss and grieving. If you are not in a headspace to handle these topics, please consider skipping this video. Now, without further ado, let's get started.
It feels like the page is staring back at me. In fact, at this point, it probably is. My gaze drifts from the journal to the window by the entrance. Marina is outside, twirling the payphone's cord as she pops in another quarter. She bites her lips and looks through the window. Our eyes meet. She sends me a small, anxious wave. Closing the book, I let out a yawn and remove my head from my fist. I'm sure there's a red imprint on my cheek. Figuring out we had to go to Shiprock was the easy part. Everything else has been a gigantic pain in the ass. There's a rush of precious cold air getting sucked from the building. Marina enters, carefully shutting the door and taking a seat opposite me in the booth.
So how'd it go?
It went fine, I guess.
Your parents are okay with all of this?
Maybe not okay,
A smile creeps onto her face.
but they understand.
At least someone gets it, because I still don't.
They weren't happy about the car, though.
I think you were the only person who was.
How couldn't I be? Mariah showed us that the treasure is real.
You're going to believe the people who stole your car?
It was an accident. They didn't mean to.
They didn't mean to steal your car. 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 That was an active decision, Marina! Like, you don't just decide that, hey, I'm gonna steal somebody's car. No, they found a car on the side of the road, and instead of, checking to see if, maybe it had been used recently, they just up and decided that they were gonna dismantle it. That is an active decision. That meant that they did mean to, Marina. Okay. I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm not okay, but let's continue.
Besides, they're nice.
Before I can argue further, our waitress emerges from the kitchen carrying our order. A hot black coffee for me, a milkshake for Marina, and a large order of fries for both of us. Oh, that sounds really good. Marina's eyes brighten at the sight of the shake. Like with the slushie, her sweet tooth takes control of her, and she practically starts drooling over the glass. With a nod, the waitress disappears back into the kitchen.
Thanks for the food, by the way.
Well, it's not like I really had a choice. I could hear your stomach from the driver's seat. I wasn't about to let you starve to death on my watch. Plus, I was getting pretty hungry too.
Amazingly, Marina didn't freak out at the sight of the diner, like she has at everything else so far. I was genuinely shocked when I didn't hear a gasp of awe escape her mouth as we pulled up.
Hey, Amber, why don't you get a shake too? Coffee and fries don't really go together, don't you think?
I mean, they don't, but mind your business.
I'm fine. I don't really like sweet things.
And yet, you have chosen to take this one into your heart.
But it's super good, especially when you dip your fries in it.
Blech. She takes several of the fries and does just that, dipping them in the shake like it was ketchup or mustard.
That's silly. I can do the same thing with my coffee.
No. Taking a fry, I dunk it in my coffee and take a bite of it. That was a mistake. It's disgusting. That was a bad idea. Grimacing, I place the rest of my fry on my napkin as I try to cope with the cold, chill, and sulfury aftertaste.
Maybe it would work better if you put creamer in it?
No.
Somehow I doubt that. Besides, it would just ruin the coffee.
You are so judgmental. I should have known you were a black coffee drinker. I really should have.
I don't know how you can even drink it without cream, or at least a little sugar. It's so bitter.
It's an acquired taste. You find flavor in the bitterness.
Or you just become bitter.
That's why I think it's weird that you drink something like that.
How do you mean?
I don't know.
Her brow furrows in deep thought.
You always seem so yes or no about stuff.
Black and white.
If you like something, then you do. If you don't like something, then you don't.
You're losing me, Mare.
Aww.
What did Mom used to tell us when we didn't listen to her? Oh, yeah. Basically, you have a really thick head, Amber.
I nearly spit the coffee out of my mouth.
Gee, thanks.
Or was it a thick skull? Whatever, you know what I mean, right?
I think so. Maybe. It wasn't really an acquired taste for me now that I think about it. Maybe I've always liked the bitterness.
Because you have a bitter soul. Or maybe I just convinced myself that I did. I don't know. I mean, if you saw your grandfather drinking black coffee without any cream or sugar in it, then you probably, because like you have like, you wanted to emulate him because you admire him. It could be that you convinced yourself that you liked it because Grandpa liked it. And if Grandpa liked it, that means it was good.
Is that a bad thing?
Just like in Mariah's RV, Marina shakes her head and gives me a sweet, genuine smile.
I don't think so. I actually really like it. It reminds me of Shiprock.
A warm, tickling sensation bubbles up in my chest. It forces me to smile, but I play it off all cool and breezy-like.
So I remind you of a rock. You shouldn't say that kind of thing. People might think they're insults.
Satisfied with how I played that off, I reach for a fry to reward myself, but instead of a hot, crispy goodness, something smooth brushes against my fingertips. I gaze down at the plate of fries. Marina's hands, for a split second, rest below mine. We instinctively snap back. Marina's face is bright shade of pink, and mine is probably similar.
Sorry.
The room feels 10 degrees hotter. We try to re-establish eye contact, but our glances shoot off in other directions as soon as we meet.
Hey, Amber?
I managed to compose myself long enough to look back.
You said something about bills and expenses last night, right? I don't know what exactly you meant by that or what it is you have to pay off, but since we know the treasure is real now, I was wondering, maybe you might think about sticking around to look with me? We could even split it, or something.
Well, first off, we don't even know if the treasure is actually real. Mariah could be pulling our legs.
My coffee is mostly gone. All that's left is a puddle and a few stray grounds.
I'll think about it, though.
Really?
I mean, one last adventure before you have to face reality is not so bad, and the possibility that you get a treasure out of it, meh.
I only said I would think about it. Don't get too excited just yet.
I won't. I just think it would be super cool.
Marina flops her chin down and rests on the table.
How's it going anyway? Have you figured out where the first part of the treasure might be?
Because you have to be the one to figure it out, yeah.
No luck. It's not like the guy drew a map or anything. He just jotted down details about the places he went to.
That and rambling about how awesome he was.
Do you think Mariah was right and he hit it on top of old Shippy?
Don't listen to Mariah, okay? She doesn't know what she's talking about. Think about it. How would he even scale the mountain? He was traveling solo on horseback. I doubt he would have the tools to do it.
I mean, he did have a guide, though.
And even if he did, I'm pretty sure he would have gone on and on about it in his journal.
With a puppy dog whine, Marina frowns.
Are you sure he didn't mention anything else? Maybe something we didn't catch?
I slide the book across the table and over the leftover crumbs, stretching out my stiff joints as I rest against the booth.
Take a look if you want. My eyes are gonna start bleeding if I read it again. The only things he really mentioned are the rocks and the dikes around it.
Oh.
Her brain went the same place mine did. Marina forces herself to stare down at the plate, the blush from earlier reappearing. Oh. Oh.
No, not like that.
I stifle a giggle, teasing her is going to be a blast.
I mean the rocks that branch out from the mountain. That's what they're called. Huh.
It's so simple, but it makes sense. I shoot up and throw down some money. Marina jumps at the sound of the table rattling.
What's the matter? Did you figure out where it is?
Maybe. At least a general area.
I march towards the door. The table rattles again as Marina leads up. She stays behind to straighten it out before scrambling to catch up with me.
We're going now?
Hell no. We don't have any equipment. But we know someone who does.
I shove the door open, the last bastion between refreshing air and burning, dry heat.
Come on. Let's go cash in a favor.
It sure was nice for Mariah and her friends to let us use some of their equipment.
Only after that Joseph guy begged her to.
I paused to look around. We decided to wait until nightfall to go look around some more. Because that's not dangerous. It's like an entirely different world the further you get from the insanity. Quiet and calm. The only lights are the stars and the faint glow of the campground. The campers and motorhomes flickering in the distance. Marina fiddles with the metal detector's headphones, removing them halfway.
Sorry, the beeping's loud. What was that?
Forget it. I'm not playing that game. Just keep listening.
Oh!
Did you find something?
I think so. It's over here.
I set aside my shovel and throw myself to the ground, clawing at the sand. Wow, Amber. A shiny speck sticks out of the ground. Frantically, I dig it up.
Is it the gold?
It's...
I scrape harder.
It's...
Harder.
It's...
Harder. Finally, I unearth it and hold it up to the starlight.
A soda tab.
Can aluminum be detected by a metal detector? That's a good question. I should...
Damn it! This is the 5th one!
If we find any more, we could start making a curtain out of them.
I mean, that's an idea. I send the tab flying, speeding over the dikes.
Maybe we should call it a night. I'm sure we can find it once we're fresh in the morning.
Nah, that's no good. We can only do it now because Parks and Recreation isn't paying as much attention.
Though even now, someone's still guarding the area near the campground. The rocks give us some cover, so I don't think we'll be spotted, but we still need to be careful.
We'll keep looking for a little while. If we can't find anything, we might want to assume the worst.
Her face wrenches with hopelessness.
That somebody else found it?
No, that
It doesn't exist!
Yeah.
Jeez, it's like you've never even considered that it might not be real.
But Mariah...
Yeah, I know.
I grab my shovel and swing it back over my shoulder. As we walk, we stay as close to the mountain range as possible.
Why are you so gung-ho about this thing anyway? If you're just in it for the cash, there are better ways to make money than dragging yourself around the desert.
Oh no, it's nothing like that. It's just...
Her voice trails off. It hangs over us, never fully evaporating into the cool night air.
It's okay. Don't feel like you have to tell me.
We both have things we don't want to talk about. That's becoming very clear. At least Marina doesn't swerve off the road so she can go pout. I mean, that's very real. I just don't want to think about it. All I've been doing for the last month is thinking about it. I almost wish my brain would quit working so I wouldn't have to. So naturally, I take a long, lonely trip with nothing to do except think.
Amber, it's happening again!
Marina stops, hands quivering as she tightens her grip.
I swear, if this is another soda tab...
I don't think it is. The beeping is really loud, and it's vibrating a lot.
Wait, it's vibrating?
Uh-huh. It feels weird.
Bzzz. The metal detector hovers over the ground between the rock and the sand. I thrust my shovel into the spot, the metal scraping against the edge of the dike. Planting my foot on the shovel's head, I drive it further into the ground, using every ounce of my strength to dig. The first load of dirt and sand unclenches from the ground, loosening the earth around it. I throw the load aside and repeat the process. Each time, it's a little easier, a little lighter. Finally, the shovel strikes something hard, sending a shocking vibration through my hand and up my entire body.
Bedrock?
I haven't dug that deep.
Dropping to my knees, I reach my hands into the hole and brush off the remaining dirt. Marina leans in. The sound of her anxiously swallowing is barely audible over my heavy breathing. Gallery. My fingers brush against something. I gulp and pull out the hole's contents. A small, rotting wood box. My heart stops. Trembling, I open the box, the leftover dirt falling into my lap. Gold.
It exists? It exists?
It exists!
Marina yells at the top of her lungs, a yell so loud that it bounces off the mountain, echoing off the horizon and then back again. Marina has been unleashed.
Shh, not so loud. They might hear us.
She lowers her voice to an excited whisper, channeling her energy into bouncing up and down.
But it exists! I told you it did!
She's right, and despite being proven wrong, I can't help but smile. Here I thought it was going to be some plastic treasure chest with a coupon for chocolate milk inside it, or something equally shameless and corporate. My only warning is a quick gust of wind. Before I even have a chance to brace for it, I'm engulfed by Marina and her hug.
What?
It's real! I told you it was! I told you!
I stop for a second and smile.
Yeah, you were right. It's real.
Should we tell someone? What do we even do now?
Honestly, I'm not sure.
I wouldn't tell anybody.
It's getting pretty late, though. Let's pack it up for the night. We can think about what to do in the morning.
For now, we can just marvel at the fact that it's not bogus.
Sound like a plan?
It does, but...
She takes a deep, long breath, inhaling all the air around and maybe even some of mine, then releases it all at once.
It's actually really real!
Shh! Marina, quiet! They're gonna hear us.
A thunderous banging wakes me from a dead sleep, rattling the entire motorhome.
Hey! I know you two are in there! You thieves better not still be sleeping!
The muffled shout leaks in from outside, followed by another voice.
Sis, it's not even 7. Can I go back to bed?
And another voice.
You're better off just rolling with it. For her, it may as well be noon.
Open up, or I swear Joe's gonna bust down this door!
Wait, what?
I like Joe. Gee, I wonder who this could be. I roll out of bed and open the slider connecting to the other rooms. Marina is sitting pressed up against the back of the fold-out bed with sheets over her head.
Who do you think it is?
I wonder.
Take a wild guess.
I march over and throw open the door. As expected, my 3 favorite people stand before me.
It's about time. Do you have any idea how long we've been out here?
Like 5 minutes. A groggy Tess sways from side to side. Joseph's gentle hands are the only thing preventing her from passing out on the ground.
It's funny that you, of all people, would accuse us of theft.
What else would you call what happened to my equipment?
I don't know. Borrowing? You loaned it to us, remember?
Correction. Joe loaned it to you.
So then Joe stole it. Joe gives a tired smirk and wave.
I was forced to sit idly by and watch you make off with it. That's theft if I ever seen it.
She pushes me aside and clambers into the motorhome, followed by the other 2.
Looks like we're coming in.
Make way.
Good morning. Hey, you 3. Morning. How are you guys doing?
Tired. For what it's worth, we tried stopping her.
Did you? Maria stomps to the middle of the motorhome, analyzing everything before releasing a loud scuff.
So where's my stuff?
If you don't get out of my RV in 5 seconds, it'll be shoved up your ass.
Don't worry about it. You guys are great. Hey, Tess. Did you hang up your new wind chime?
Tessa's eyes flicker with an interest for all of a second, then return to their obstinate droopy state.
Uh-huh. Above my bed.
What's up with the fold-out? You 2 don't sleep together?
What?
No. We couldn't dare.
Told ya.
Damn it.
Grumbling, Mariah pulls a bill from her pocket and slips it into Joe's hands.
Does that mean we get to sleep in tomorrow morning?
Sure does, kiddo. Sure does.
The ringleader of the circus returns to inspecting the motorhome, fiddling with the magnets on the fridge.
Anyway, give me back my equipment and we'll get out of your hair.
Come on, just let them use it. It's the least we can do after tearing apart her car.
Mariah's attention turns to the counter, topped with the open box of stunning gold nuggets from the night before. Why didn't you put that away?
And whose fault was that? What is this?
None of your business.
What is what?
The thing on the counter? It almost looks like...
Oh, that? That's the piece of the treasure we found.
God damn it, Marina.
Yeah, right! You're kidding.
She chuckles. She stops.
She's kidding, right?
I have a devious thought and crack an equally devious smile.
Nope. She's telling the truth. 100%.
I wrap my arm around Mariah and bring her close. Joseph and Tess shoot each other alarmed glances.
We found it last night. With your equipment.
She stands there, stupefied.
No! That's impossible. You're lying.
Really now? Hey, Marina, why don't you tell her about it?
Sure thing! It started yesterday after we met. Amber looked at the journal again and thought it might be near the smaller rocks behind the bigger one. They're called dikes, I think. Anyway, turns out she was right!
Mariah looks down, muttering to
But
herself.
how? Why wouldn't he just hide it on the mountain? It doesn't make sense. If he was going back to Missouri...
Her voice diminishes until her words are reduced to lip flaps. Like a mad scientist trying to figure out a complex equation, she retreats into her own little mind.
Mariah?
A smidge of sympathy buds inside me. I look to Joseph and Tess. Even they looked a little shocked.
Is she gonna be okay?
I honestly don't know.
Tess approaches Mariah, who is still whispering nonsense under her breath. Nonchalantly, Tess hops in front of her, her hand reaching upwards, trying to wave it in front of Mariah and bring her back to our world. No response. Tess pulls Mariah's arm skyward, then allows them to flop down to her side. Still no response.
You know, we've been looking into that treasure since we were kids.
Joseph steps up to the counter and stares into the box.
Never expected someone else to find it before us.
That's more than I can say. I didn't even think it existed.
There's that too.
He sighs, then with a shrug cracks a smile.
Well, good job anyway. You ladies seem cool, so if it couldn't be us, then at least it was you.
You guys want to stick around? We could tell you more about it.
He looks at Mariah.
Somehow, I don't think that would be healthy for her. Or you.
Fair. He grabs Mariah by the shoulders and begins pushing her towards the exit.
Come on, Mariah. Let's go make you a nice cold michelada. You two can keep the equipment. Think of it as an apology gift.
Because cheaply made tools I could get at any hardware store are equal value to a car. They're almost out of the motorhome when Mariah flips and rushes back in.
Hold on a minute, thief!
She looks me straight in the eyes, her expression returning to that of a piercing hawk.
You just had beginner's luck. You might have found the first piece, but I promise you, me and my team will find the rest.
She extends a hand and smirks. I pause for a moment, then grab it and offer a smirk of my own.
You're on.
Marina and Joseph both let out a sigh of relief as they've witnessed the signing of a peace treaty.
Well, guess that takes care of that.
Now let's get out of here and go back to a proper base.
Are you going to drink until you feel better again, sis?
That's not good.
Shut up! Didn't Mom ever teach you any manners?
You always said Mom is an airheaded ditz who wouldn't know good advice or a good man if it bit her on the butt.
Wow. Yeah, they definitely have some problems.
Oh yeah.
Sorry for all the trouble, ladies. See you two down the road.
Joseph pulls the door closed. Marina and I stay put as the bickering of the trio fades into the distance.
Were you serious?
About what?
The treasure. You told Mariah that you were gonna find the rest. If you were just being nice and want to leave now, that's fine too. You've already done a lot for me.
She cast her eyes downwards to hide her emotions, but I know better by now.
And let you keep all the treasure for yourself? Hell no.
Her eyes bounce back.
Besides, someone's got to keep you from getting yourself into trouble. May as well be me.
For real? But don't you have the festival to go to?
It's still a little while away. I wanted to do some sightseeing anyway.
Marina lunges forward. Before I can sidestep, she tackles me with the force of a gold-filled freight train. I don't even try to resist. It's futile in the grace of Marina's hugs.
Thank you, 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 thank you!
Actually, I probably owe you an apology.
So many apologies. She cocks her head and looks up at me. I look away, my bashful side taking over.
Well, you know, I kept saying it wasn't real and stuff.
Hey, don't worry about it. Most people wouldn't have given me the time of day.
Yeah, but...
Relax. Just figure out where we have to go next.
I smile. We walk to the front of the RV and take our seats. Grabbing the journal from the glove compartment, I flip it open. I glance over the second to last entry. Key phrases like split path, detour, and acres of identical arch stone throw my brain into a deep end, drowning me in dizzying puzzles before I even fully read it. Marina peeks over, trying to decipher the entries with me. A speck of inadequacy crawls up inside me, and I quickly flip to the next entry before Marina notices I'm stuck. I will deal with that later. For now, we'll just narrow this down. Much has happened since my last entry, so let me waste no time in beginning. As I mentioned previously, I had begun to develop a cough of sorts during my travels. At the time, I thought nothing of it, just a result of being overexposed to the elements. After all, a handsomely rugged and worldly man such as myself should be used to such things, but I digress. Unfortunately, the more I continued under the blazing sun, the more my condition worsened, until finally my body gave out. The last thing I remember is falling off my seat. Some time later I awoke next to a fire with my horse nearby. I myself could not move, as I was held down by illness and sweat, but I was reassured by a man sitting across from me. Upon further inspection I realized he was a native of this land. I had several encounters with people of his sort during my time on the wagon trail, so naturally I was suspicious and fearful for the remainder of my gold. However, the man said he had no interest in such things. A dry, quiet fellow, the man told me his name was Lamasi, and that I was in a canyon his people occupied, although they had been driven to a different segment of it some years back. His English was quite fluent, and when I inquired, he said he had learned from the settlers as a boy. Over the next several days, Lamasi would nurse me back to health. We would never stray too far, as he preferred looking after his estranged tribe from a distance, but I was able to explore portions of his home. Eventually I stumbled upon a long ruined home built into a cave on the side of the mountain. According to Lamasi, there were many more like it, though they originally belonged to the enemies of his ancestors. It was then that I realized where I would leave the next portion of my bounty. On my last day with him, I informed Lamasi of my plans, when he casually promised to guard it for me until I returned. But before I left, he pointed me in the direction of a sacred landmark, one so giant and huge it would simultaneously be a conspicuous and inconspicuous hiding place. With that knowledge, I bid farewell to my friend and trusted the gold in his care. Perhaps I will reward him with some of it on the return trip.
You're my messy, Amber.
Suddenly my chest feels like a hummingbird is fluttering around it. I shift my eyes away from her, smile, and I hide my face.
Thanks.
When you strip away the circumstances, I guess I did save and protect her like that Lamasi guy did with the miner.
Gorge is like a canyon, right?
Marina leans in closer and points to the entry, strands of her soft hair tickling my cheek. I scoot back and power through it, taking a sharp breath to collect myself.
Basically, yeah.
Marina nearly springs out of her seat in a burst of realization, her head an inch away from smacking into the ceiling.
Oh my god. Does that mean we get to go to the Grand Canyon? Do we get to go to the Grand Canyon, Amber?
Not unless history decides to rewrite itself.
Isn't that in Arizona?
There are lots of canyons with ruins. One of them is the Grand Canyon, but most of them have been cleaned out for hundreds of years.
I choke down a groan. Native American ruins aren't exactly rarities around here. Maybe that other entry wasn't so bad after all.
So we're looking for a place that was still being used in the 1850s.
Marina hunkers down and thinks with me, wrinkles forming on her forehead as she tries to strain out an answer. I'm pretty sure she doesn't even know where to start, but hey, at least she's trying.
Well, there is one place.
Marina hardly gets a breath out before I crush her dreams once again.
Not the Grand Canyon.
She slinks back into her chair and quietly pouts.
It's still in Arizona, but it's a different place. Canyon de Chelly. The Navajo weren't chased out until 1863, so the timing isn't too screwy.
What was that?
Place is loaded with ruins, too.
Oh, are they Puebloan ruins?
My flow of information stops. She knows what I'm talking about? She can actually pronounce it?
Yeah. I'm surprised you know that.
Yep, I've been reading some of those travel guides lying around. Super interesting.
Those things must be about as old as I am by now. I didn't have the heart to throw them away when I was cleaning everything out.
Hey, that's how I did it. It's the best way to learn. Anyway, Canyon de Chelly is pretty damn close to here.
She gasps.
So it might have lined up with the route he took.
Well, I can't be 100% positive, but...
I close my eyes and snap the book shut, the air between the page puffing out at us. Then with one eye open, shoot Marina a grin.
I'm pretty sure.
Arizona's highways are infamously boring. Nothing but hills, up, down, up, down. There's nothing interesting to look at. Both sides of the road are smothered in nondescript shrubs. Yeah, I remember. It's the part of the country where you just zone out and drive on autopilot. When we finally see a sign for the town of Chinle, right next to the canyon, it feels like we're approaching the promised land. Marina looks up from the book she's reading just in time to miss the sign.
Was that it? Are we there yet?
Nah, 40 miles to go still. So about half an hour.
She makes a sound like a popped balloon and goes back to reading. We take an exit in a tiny excuse for a town, one of those places that has a gas station and a few old houses. It's like in Monopoly, where you buy up all the property you can even though it's not that great.
This is it?
Marina repeats her earlier question as I slow down to turn left.
Nope. Almost. I don't even know what this place is called.
She makes the popped balloon noise again, but leaves the book closed. When we finally reach Jinley, it's pretty obvious. This is the first real town we've seen in hours. The outskirts are industrial, dominated by what I assume are factories. A pair of stray dogs lope around along the side of the road, hungry and lean. Marina makes a sound of sympathy, pressing her face against the glass as we pass them.
Hey, Amber!
Can we adopt some dogs?
We're not getting a dog.
Amber, you are just so mean.
But they're so cute! And we could dress them up in a bandana and...
No way. I've never gotten why people want to dress their pets up like people.
It's cute.
Marina pouts. I figured she was joking, but she didn't actually think I would let her get a dog, right? It seems that all is forgiven by the time I pull into a gas station. She's bouncing in her seat with her usual enthusiasm, or maybe it's her bladder. My second guess must have been correct, because as soon as I shut off the engine, she darts out of the RV and into the store. While she does that, I fuel up, not telling when we'll see the next gas station. Could be 100 miles. And this thing drinks gasoline like a thirsty dog drinks water. By the time I finish, Marina still isn't back, so I lock up and head inside. The store is devoid of other customers. It's unremarkable, with the usual selection of candy, chips, and overpriced beef jerky. I'm not hungry, just passing time. Soon Marina trots out of the bathroom, glancing around. She spots me and heads over.
Want anything?
Duh, let's see.
I leave her to agonize over the candy bars while I flip through some of the travel brochures beneath the window. There are a couple about Canyon de Chelly, which is our destination just up the road. There are flyers for other Arizona attractions too, including non-local ones. Of course, there are a few brochures for the Grand Canyon, plus a couple must-see sites in Phoenix, the capital. There's even an ad for a novelty just called The Thing in Tucson, but that's far out of our way.
Okay, I'm ready.
I turn around. Marina has a couple king-size candy bars in her hands and a large bottle of Coke tucked under her arm.
You seriously need all that?
Why are you so judgy?
I thought we could share.
She gives me the best offended puppy impression.
Fine, fine.
I still don't want anything, but I can't say no to that.
Here, I'm gonna use the bathroom too. Meet you at the car.
I place my wallet atop the pallet of candy she's carrying and send her towards the attendant. When I come back out of the bathroom, Marina's still talking to the clerk. There's a bag in her hand, so she must have already finished paying and gotten distracted talking. I join the two of them.
Closed off, so only the guided tours are open right now.
Marina looks like she's seen a ghost.
What's up?
I take my wallet from where it's just sitting forgotten on the counter.
I was just asking about the canyon and the tours and stuff.
The clerk nods.
Yup. I was saying how if you're here to sightsee, you might have some trouble. A lot of it's closed off because of all the kids coming and causing trouble looking for treasure.
Damn. I'm not surprised, but that's frustrating.
What isn't closed off?
Well, there are still some tours you can go on. Most of them, I think. But you can't do the self-guided ones.
Marina looks at me, eyes wide. Clearly she's expecting some solution from me. I just smile at the attendant.
Got it. Thank you.
And lead the dumbstruck Marina out of the store. As I unlock the RV, Marina prances around me.
What are we gonna do?
Well, I'm gonna take a nap.
She stops.
Huh?
I'm tired, so I'm going to nap for a little bit. I checked one of the pamphlets and there's a tour at 6:30, so we'll just join that and then sneak off.
Like, on our own?
Yeah.
Her eyes go wide again.
Amber, you're a genius!
I twist a lock of hair around my finger and glance away. Her constant compliments are a little embarrassing, especially for stuff that seems obvious to me.
Thanks. It's not much of a plan, though.
Yeah, but at least it's a plan. I thought we were just gonna have to give up or something.
Nah. Rules are made to be broken and all that.
I feel a bit guilty that we've been breaking rules specifically put in place because people like us, but I can safely say that we'll be more careful with than the average treasure hunter. Just picturing Mariah, I can easily see her smashing down ancient ruins in her search. Yeah, no kidding.
But yeah, wake me up at 5:30. Unless you're going to nap too.
Nope, I'm not tired anymore, so I'll just read some more.
Alright. Good night.
Night-night!
I leave her up at the front as I head back to my bed and fall into it. After bunching up my blankets around me, it doesn't take long to fall asleep. Was that whole thing a chapter?
Thank you for joining me for episode 3 of Highway Blossoms by Studio Elon. Episode 4 will be out shortly. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment letting me know what you like down below. Please no hate or spoilers, as I'm not above removing those comments and the people who make them. That's all for now, folks, and I'll see you next time.